Do you think he knows?
Well, I don't know. It's technological stuff.
Thank you, Chief. We'll call the regular council meeting in the town of Grand Bay Westfield on Monday, November 23rd to order. Item 2. Item 2 is a record of attendance. Let the record reflect, we have all council in attendance with the exception of Councillor Bailmans at this point, hoping that he will be joining us. Item 3.
Regular meeting agenda. Or we need to open the regular meeting.
So it's approval of the order of business and the approval of additions and or deletions.
So moved.
Second it.
On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. And thank you, council, for putting up your hands. It's easier to see that way if you don't mind. I see Councillor Bailmans, you have joined us, but you're on mute. You might want to hit your mute button. And then we'll move to item 5, please.
Okay, I got it. Start video. Is that, yeah, start video too.
Mine is a little bit different than, hang on, I don't have the, just give me a second here.
There, John, you're on.
There, I'm on. Let's go. Let's roll.
Hi, Councillor Bailmans. So we're on item 5. John, item 5 is public hearings. There are none. Item 6 is public presentations. And we have Cindy McCready doing a presentation from the Westfield All-Inclusive Playground Project. Cindy, I know someone is joining you. Perhaps you can introduce them as well, please. You're on mute, Cindy, as well.
Sorry, she's having trouble getting in right now. I don't think she's here yet.
No, it says Joanne's iPhone is connecting.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Cindy McCready. I'm the president of Home and School, and Joanne Waters will be joining me, and she is the president of the PSSC.
So, Cindy, we would want Joanne to know that I believe she's on, but she's on mute.
Oh, okay.
There she is.
Hi there. Sorry.
Joanne. And Cindy, we have a picture of your husband. I'm assuming David McCready.
Oh, it is? So you can't see me?
No. You.
You turn your video. If you hit your video button, it'll should display you.
Hey, there you are.
There she is. Hi, Cindy.
Sorry.
Okay, you and Joanne have the floor.
Okay, thank you. So I just want to say thank you to Grace Logier and council for hearing us tonight. I'm just going to pull up my presentation there quickly. Okay, so.
Cindy, I would want you to know that we have had your presentation, that which you have tabled at the office, council has had for the weekend and have had a chance to review it.
Okay, so I'll kind of just go over a little bit of it. So we are building a all-inclusive playground at Westville Elementary School. Our school is the only elementary school that is a fully accessible school in the Grand Bay Westfield area. So all children that have mobility issues or anything come to our school because we have ramps, we have elevators, and it makes it fully accessible. So a number of years ago, we decided to start fundraising because we noticed that our playground was not accessible. You cannot access it. And even though we have a rubberized surface on our one playground, unfortunately, there's nothing for any child to do there. So they might be able to eventually get there, but change our current small structure that you can see on slide number I think it's 5, our metal structure, and make that an all-inclusive, which will have ramps from the bus lane, and then children will have stuff that they can access. Currently, our students that are have mobility issues and are in a wheelchair can't get down to the playground at all, and they have to either sit on the bus lane or stay inside in order to play. So that has driven us home to do this. We started it about 5 years ago, and we are in the home stretch, and we're pretty excited about that. So I know you guys have looked at most of our information. So our playground is costing about $200,000. We currently have over $75,000 raised, and our goal right now is to to get $45,000 more towards our project. That will get us to the next phase, which is applying for a grant with the government for $50,000, which will make us almost where we need to be. Now, the $200,000 would have taxes in, but once it goes to tender, the taxes will come off. So $45,000 is our goal. We don't see any problem getting the government grant. We applied for it a number of years ago, and they asked us to maybe hold off so we have this opportunity to get the $50,000 once we reach the $100,000 grant. So that will be applied for April 1st. So in that $45,000 that we are missing and we're trying to fundraise for now, we have a number of projects on the go. So you saw our brochure that we had given out, and that's our Giving Tree campaign. So we're reaching out to businesses and other organizations such as yourselves to give to our playground. So your name and our business would go on to our Giving Tree as a donor. So we're looking to council for approximately $5,000, but there's a number of different ranges if that's not possible to get us towards our goal. So we have our car fundraiser and a number of other things, and we're really hopeful in the next, it'll probably go to tender in the spring, and we'll have it installed. And if we don't reach the full targeted amount, we will build a smaller playground. This is our last year, so this is why we've come to council now that we're at the end of our goal. So I'm going to let Joanne continue on.
Thank you, Cindy.
All right. So a big part of why we're here is that we really need your help. And in a time in which most places are starting to realize and recognize the importance of accessibility, we feel like this is a huge place for the town to really step up and to be leaders in that. We know that in New Brunswick and in Canada and all across the world, people are starting to really recognize the importance of accessibility, inclusiveness, and this is a chance for the town of Grand Bay to really show that we are leaders in this. For children, one of the main hubs of their time is a school playground. It's where children come to connect. It's where children spend huge portions of their day, and it's a huge place. When they come to school, it's the first place they go. When they are recess, lunch, those are the big player times for children. And when you ask a child about what they did in their day, they're going to tell you the first things that come out of their mouth are going to be about what they did at the playground. So it's really important to us that every child has the chance to have that experience. And as a town, we know how important it is and how much you value, being active, being a part of things. And this is a great way for you to show that support by supporting this project. So if you take a look, we definitely have a need, and we certainly need your help. I want to draw your attention to slide number 7. So, our vision, or the vision of the town of Grand Bay, is to be efficient, effective, and flexible organization for the overall good of the community, enhancing the quality of life by being sensitive to community needs in an ever-changing and complex environment. And what better way to do that and to enhance the lives of those who really need it the most, right? These kids, they need that social interaction. They need that time on the playground. And what we need to do as a community is to really send a very clear message to everyone that every child matters and that every child has a right to play. Every child has a right to the same things. So a bit of why I'm here. I know you've reviewed our PowerPoint, and you've had a chance to kind of talk or look it over. If you take a look at slide number 10, you get a chance to take a look at some of our everyday superheroes. And in slide number 11, you'll have a chance to see my superhero. That's my daughter, Abby. She is 7 years old, and she was born with a form of cerebral palsy. Basically, Abby is a fighter. She is unlike anybody you've ever met in your entire life. And she is the kind of person that she humbles everybody who meets her. When Abby was 2 years old, we were told that there was a chance that she probably would walk, but no one really knew for sure. What makes her really special is that clearly she never listened to anything that the doctor said, and she went full force into the world. And at 4 years old, she took her first steps. And I will tell you, she runs, she climbs, she jumps, she's a monkey, and she keeps all of us on our toes all the time. But what's really amazing is not just Abby and what she does and how she faces her life, but the most amazing things that happen when Abby is with other kids. And I know that if you've had a chance to look at the PowerPoint and you saw on slide number 13, there's a story there about being at a birthday party. And it was probably one of the most pinnacle moments, I think, of my entire life. As Abby was trying to bounce on this bouncy castle, and we were watching, and I'm standing back, and we saw this little girl who basically stopped an entire room of children and tried to level the playing field. She very clearly made it very clear to all of those children that they needed to stop and they needed to respect Abby's needs. And she held Abby's hand as Abby crawled across the bouncy castle and slid down the slide, which was Abby's favorite part. And that part was really magical, because I think that that's what we want to do as a town, as a province, as a country. We want our children to become those people who are advocates and who see the right in the world. And by allowing this playground to happen, or to be participating in this playground and supporting this playground, what we're doing is we're telling children how important it is to step up and say what's right, and to make sure that everybody around them is connected and included. And I especially think how important it is right now. We're in the midst of a pandemic. We know that right now people are feeling hot. There's a lot of hot feelings in the world. And by supporting this and by announcing and making it very clear that this is a priority for you, I think what we're doing is we're telling our children that, everybody matters. It's important to be connected. It's important to take care of each other. And that's the message that we really want to be sharing. I don't want to continue to tell stories that, are there, but I think that more so now than ever, do we have a need for this playground. We need a place where our children can go and play and be active. We need to remind people of the kindness in our world and the importance that we are all here in this province, in this town, in this province, to take care of one another, and that we all matter, and that this is really a time in which we need to be with each other, take care of each other, and really show these amazing kids, especially since many of them right now, their lives are, many of our children are home right now because of the fear of the pandemic. But by giving them something to look forward to and a place to play, we're letting them know that they have a space in our school, they have a space, and that they can continue and participate. Sorry?
I just said thank you, Joanne.
You're welcome. So I thank you very much for taking the time to review our PowerPoint, to hear our thoughts. I think that this is going to truly help to foster important relationships in our community, to really show every child and every family that they matter. And it's going to allow kids the chance to develop these key skills that are so important, and to really create a safe place in our community that values children and shows all of the kids that there's a space for everybody.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you very much.
I'm hoping that you and
Sorry?
Cindy will be available for questions. I'm sure council has some questions they'd like to ask you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So let me start with the deputy mayor. Any questions for the presenters, Michael?
The only question, so this is going to be in the school ground at the Westfield School.
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct.
And the Department of Education and the school board and everybody's on board.
Yes, they're very supportive of the project and actually will be assisting us in cutting down some of the costs.
Good. Okay, good. Well, thank you for the presentation, and it's certainly a very meaningful endeavor. I had a Down syndrome child myself, and I know what growing up with children like that is like. Unfortunately, he died at a young age, but I'm totally in favor of what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you.
Councillor Snodgrass?
Sorry, did you say me, Your Worship?
Yes, I did, Councillor Snodgrass. Do you have any
Yeah, no,
questions?
thank you. Yeah, thank you. And thank you both for your presentation. Well received, well put together, and it certainly hits a chord with me as well. I'm impressed with the level of effort that's already gone into this, and you've raised a substantial amount of money as you indicated. It sounds like you're getting close. Did I hear you correct when you said you were looking at April 1st as the completion timeline for submitting a grant application? And then would you expect it to be constructed in 2021, or are we talking 2022?
The last grant that we need to apply for is open April 1st. So once we get clarification on the timeline for that, the tenders will go out. And yes, we expect it to be in the ground fall of 2021.
Oh, excellent. No, listen, I think it's definitely the other question. Sorry, before I jump to that, the location that you're putting it. So I know there's two structures there. There's one that's a little newer, and then there's another one that's maybe it was smaller for the smaller children. Is that going to replace that location? Is that what you're thinking? I'm thinking it's like closer to the Ballantyne Place Street, I guess, on that side of the school, on the south side.
So it's the little metal structure. So there's the big playground, and then there's a little playground that kind of matches the bigger one. That one's staying, and there's just the full metal structure closest to it would be like staff parking closest to the bus lane, that small structure. You can see
Gotcha.
the picture in our presentation.
Yeah, it's the one with the small little zip line
Yeah.
on it. Yeah, okay, perfect. So the other structure is going to remain. The other two structures, I guess, will still remain.
They will, yes.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, no, I think this is a fantastic project. I'm definitely supportive. From a town's perspective, I think we also need to be mindful of the fact that there's a thing called recreation tourism. And I know with my young children, how many times we would load them up in the van and drive to other communities to hit the big playgrounds that they love. We would constantly drive to St. Andrews to play with that. They have an amazing playground down there. And, I do think there's a lot of value to the community, not just for the students that will attend Westfield School, which I think is, you've demonstrated is going to be immeasurable, but, just for the community itself, the broader community, it's going to provide access for other children that maybe they don't attend that school, but they can still make access to it. And you bring in other people from outside of the community that would come, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see tourism go up because of that too. So just another reason why I think it fits with our goals. So anyway, thank you very much for your presentation. I appreciate it. And all
Thank
your
you,
effort.
Councillor Snodgrass. Councillor Day?
Joanne, I just put two and two together and realized I used to hear lots of stories about you from your mother.
I was going to say, you must know Ruth.
Yeah. And no, I'm totally supportive to this and this, but I'm just echoing what Ryan has said. And I think that this is going to be an enhancement, not a hindrance for our community.
Thank you, Bev. Councillor Bailmans?
Why'd you give a thumbs up so I can tell you? It's good. All good. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Councillor Evans, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'm just going to basically echo what a great job. And fortunately, in my day job, I get an opportunity to meet some of these children that you showed in your presentation and spend some time. And I do understand the value of inclusiveness. So definitely supportive. And another thing is the town, we love people that do a lot of organizing, get things close, then come to us to help them get over the finish line. So definitely supportive and good luck in the future.
So Cindy, perhaps what you could do, and I would want to make council aware, and Cindy, you can correct me because I'm drawn on my memory banks now and those cells aren't that good all the time. But I think CMEI, Cindy was, and this project was a recipient of almost $14,000, I think, in CMEI money. And then I think we went back to the item B column, and that which was going to be used by Morna Heights School was diverted over to you too, Cindy. Am I right on that?
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah, so CMEI, I want you to feel good about that too, Council. I think almost $19,000 came from CMEI towards this project. And Cindy, the other thing you said that I think is we'd all like to know, the car draw you're having, I thought it was over, but from the sounds of it, it sounds, has it been extended?
So, yeah, so we had to extend it because when Dominic Cardy or Minister Cardy had canceled school back in March, we had to stop fundraising. So we appealed to the government, the lottery board, and asked for an extension, and they were happy to grant it. The new draw date was actually tomorrow, but because we are in the orange zone, again, we are not allowed to draw it. So again, they have granted us an extension, and as soon as we are in the yellow zone, we are drawing the ticket, which will now probably be a 50-50.
Is that because is there anything we can help you to sell tickets? Could we put that on our Facebook page or anything that perhaps might have more viewers?
I believe your recreation department has shared it. I will be posting again tomorrow that it is extended. If under 1,000 tickets are sold, it'll revert to a 50-50. And I say that I would hope it stays at a 50-50 only because if we don't go to yellow in 2020, the car is a 2020 and they're going to need it off the lot. So I'm hoping it stays under the 999 tickets.
So how long are you how far away are you from goal for ticket sales?
We only have about between 200 and 250 tickets sold. So we do have quite a distance to play with. So
I see. Okay. Well, look, I would like to, you can tell we've got a great team here, Cindy, and
Your worship, maybe we could put it on our electronic sign for a couple of days as well about the draw.
Any way we can help you sell tickets, Cindy, if you wanted to talk to Gary, we'd want you to talk to Gary Clark maybe in the morning to give him the correct messaging and the contacts and things like that about where they can be purchased. I know I could have done that through you with email and I missed the day and I thought I missed my opportunity, but it would appear that maybe so, not that. So if we can help, please reach out to Gary or John in the morning and we'll see how we can help increase your sales.
Will do. Thank you very much.
You are more than welcome. So Council, could I have a motion to deal with this item, please?
I'd like to make a motion that we refer this back to town manager and staff for advisement.
Do I have a seconder?
Second it.
Thank you, Councillor Evans. On the question, Cindy, I just meant to point out too, did you notice the speech from the throne? Did you look at any of the content? The speech from the throne specifically set out a goal of this government for the disabled.
Okay.
So that may bode well for you, that they've got a focus on that with respect to you actually being able to access funding.
Okay, perfect.
That may be a good thing.
I have both the MLA and the MPs working if they see any grants or anything coming up to contact me. As they would know.
Yeah, so just to make you aware that they did highlight that in the throne speech, so you have that information under your belt. So on the question of referring to staff, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? The motion is carried. This item will return, Cindy, at an upcoming, I suspect it will be ready for us to consider at our December 9th meeting.
Okay, wonderful. We just leave now?
You can leave meeting, you and Joanne both. Nice to meet you, Joanne.
It was nice to meet you and thank you all for listening and supporting us.
Great job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Okay, Council, we'll move to item 7. It's the minutes of the regular council meeting of November 9th, 2020.
I'll make a motion to adopt them as presented.
Seconded.
John, are you capturing mover and seconder?
Yes, Your Worship, I'm typing this in, so.
Good, thank you. On the question All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Council, I ask everybody that I can see to put your hand up? I can hear Stephen's voice, but when everybody hears at once, it's kind of muffled here for me. So if I can see your hand, I know how everyone has voted. We'll proceed to item 8, bills for payment.
I'll make a motion to authorize bills for payment in the amount of $118,745.89.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 9. It's a consent agenda and there is none. Item 10, business arising from the minutes. Is there any from the regular council meeting minutes of November 9th, 2020? There being none, we'll move to item 11, delegations. None. Item 12, petitions.
There are none.
Item 13, bylaws.
There are none.
Item 14, notice of motion.
There are none.
And item 15, reports. Let's deal with them individually. 15.1, capital budget 2021.
Do you want me
I'll
to
make a motion to engage Dillon Consulting to prepare public tenders for 2021 general capital and designated highway work as follows. Transportation services, street upgrading, Timberley Manor Road resurface and base, Birchie Drive, storm, curb and paving, Highland Road, surface and base repair, storm sewer, 4 Willow Lane, designated highway project, provincial funding approval unknown for 2021, culvert repair, 293 Narapus Road, Jordan to Hillendale, concrete curb and gutter, Hammond to Ballantine, concrete curb and gutter, Milligan Brook to Onanet, concrete curb and gutter, subject to 1, a requirement for pre-job meetings with successful contractors, 2, provision of necessary flaggers, 3, the successful contractors not commencing project work prior to execution of the project contract, 4, fill disposal to be responsibility of the contractor, 5, a provision in the tender documents for addition and or deletion of project work. 6, a provision in the tender documents that the contractor is responsible for any costs related to digging up underground wires in error. 7, provision to ensure timely and acceptable restoration work. 8, an early notice being sent to property owners to have items, shrubs, etc. on the right of way, stating that the property owners need to remove items before upcoming capital work commences. 9, all tenders to be advised on tenders online to provide for early start to project work. Advertisement not to be placed in the newspaper unless so required by the province of New Brunswick. 10, a timeline for each tendered project being provided to the town, with the town to be notified in writing in a timely manner of any changes to project work or original timeline and any legal issues that may arise. 11, successful contractor or contractors being notified that the first job meeting that the $1,000 penalty for late completion will be enforced. 12, MBCSA core certification shall be mandatory for all tender submissions having a bid price greater than $99,999, a letter of good standing or a letter of good standing equivalency issued by NBCSA shall be included in all tender packages having a bid price greater than $99,999. Failure to include a letter of good standing or a letter of good standing equivalency shall be grounds for rejection. 13, residents to be notified in writing of projects occurring in their area and requests for any available project fill are to be addressed with the project contractor. 14, tracking sheet for all Dillon Consulting projects to be submitted monthly, and for capital investments to be made in accordance to the following: equipment, bumper crane for utility operator's truck, environmental development, solar panel, climate change action plan, ROWs, water sustainability, volunteer fire rescue department, phase 3 and 4 TMR changeover, buildings, new siding for front of Centrum, lighting and acoustics, Grand Bay Room, Centrum, new asphalt roof, River Valley Drive Works Garage, sanding floors at River Center, new front door at River Center, general government, office furniture and monitors, TMH Insights software, allowance for contingencies.
Seconded.
Thank you, Councillor Day. When you started that one, Councillor Snodgrass, you understand why you have two monitors now. You're the only one who can read it and see it.
Yeah.
Thank On the question, it's, look, I want to applaud council. That is a pretty hefty capital budget, but it's one that certainly we have organized, we can pay for, we can afford, and it meets all of the values that we hold dear in this community. So on the question of approval to capital budget and move to tendering process, all those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. And so we'll move to item 15.2, which is a cancellation of the second council meeting for December the 28th, 2020.
So moved.
Second it.
Thank you. On the question, if we need a meeting between then and the 14th of December, we can always host one, as is our practice. But I suspect there'll be very few people here waiting to attend a meeting on the December the 28th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried and your item is 15.3, please.
Property surplus at Baby Road.
So you have a report, council, in your package that staff is not recommending exercising our opportunity to purchase that property. They are recommending that the recommendation is to advise the province. So council, it will be up to you whether or not you see value in that property.
How much they want for it?
It's about $14,000.
And you say the house is on the property too, is in addition to the driveway?
There's
The house is on the property, John. I don't know what the garage may be on the property line, but the house is right behind the tracks. It's not on the property line.
There's a building right on the property line, and then the garage runs right beside it, and it would be on that land. So if we're going to try to be neighborly and give them an opportunity to purchase the driveway and that, we're probably looking at having to subtract 3 meters to allow for room for the garage and, for the driveway and possible setback. So which makes the lot even smaller. My understanding is historically that property where the house and the garage is was all one property at one time. And then that part was expropriated for the widening of Bayview Road.
Station Street. Yes.
Station Street, sorry, yeah.
So our thoughts were to get that all sorted out with the property owner, pave it over, and use it for potential parking for recreation use in the future.
That's right, Michael. That's we have a recreation study that was done for us a number of years ago, and it highlighted the fact that there was some, as we were speaking of, recreational tourism opportunities available at Brundage Point. In doing that, it envisioned having canoe or kayak rentals or something, and then providing a takeout. There were a couple of locations we looked at for the takeout if you put in at Brundage Point that were north of that, along the Nearpass, and we've never been able to execute on those or for whatever reason. We're looking at this one tonight because it is, we have a public takeout on Station Road, or public put in. We have public river access, more importantly, on Station Road. And this piece of property is on Station Road as well and could provide that opportunity.
Are we looking for motions?
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with the purchase of that land for further use for recreational.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
And the question.
I just want to say, I know the staff thinks everything is in a certain lens, but in my, I guess, 12 or 13 years on council over a 20-year span, we've missed out on so many different opportunities that we had to have the hindsight. So from that perspective, I think there's no way that can be a bad purchase. It'd be good for the landowner that's on the infringement. It'd be good for the community. So anyway, that's all I had. Thank you.
Or could
On the
you-
question of worship as well, I would add that I tend to agree with Councillor Evans, and that I see this as an opportunity to not only have access to the river, but also as was indicated in the report, there is a bit of an infringement on the existing property that we're going to end up having to deal with that with whoever ends up purchasing that land, unless it's the owner that has an infringement. In which case, we can still work with that owner to give them the land that they would need to get around that infringement. And we're just looking for some space for parking. I don't think I don't see this as a negative. I agree. I think we should proceed.
Anyone else? Thank you, Councillor Day. Go ahead.
I'm in support of this as well, because there's so many opportunities. And Steve, you're right. Hindsight's always been 2020, and we've missed out several times. So I'm totally in favor of this as well this evening.
And would anyone else like to speak to it?
Oh, I'm good with it too.
So, Council, yes, John, please.
I just want to make sure that I've captured the motion correctly, that's all. That the Council of the Town of Grand Bay Westfield advised the Provincial Property Services Branch that the town is interested in acquiring PID 302-13037 for recreational purposes.
Correct.
That would be it. Thank you for John. And on the question, I just too want to put my support behind that. I think this is very important. We've been trying to do this for years now. And I think that while staff may see it a bit differently, I think that they'll, look, we can, I just think if we're going to have some sort of recreational tourism economy, we have to provide those things that really can make this a reality. So I'm completely supportive of what you're doing, Council. Thank you very much. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item 16, please.
Correspondence from the Red Cross, Donor Impact Report.
Make a motion to receive and file.
We have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Snodgrass. On the question, I mean, certainly we would just want to point out that the Red Cross sent this to us initially because we've been great supporters of the Red Cross. The Red Cross have been great supporters of this community, and we believe that we certainly value their support. And they wanted us to know that the fundraiser that we always attend and buy a table for generally every year in November had to be canceled this year due to COVID, but they look forward to hosting us again next year. So on the question of receive and file, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 17, please.
Council receive and file the correspondence from the Retail Council of Canada regarding the single-use plastic bag bylaw.
Motion to receive and file.
Second it.
On the question, as I indicated to you, Council, I'm sure this is going to come back to the table, but it's more important to understand that this isn't a 6-month reduction in their advisement. It's a 6-month extension to when they were formally made aware of when that would come into fruition, that bylaw. So on the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 18.
The Council of Town of Grand Bay Westfield receive and file the correspondence from the Minister of Local Government and Local Government Reform, Daniel Alain, regarding the Safe Restart funding.
Make a motion to receive and file.
Seconded.
On the question, this finally cements the fact that the Safe Restart, this is funding that will come to municipalities that go from the feds through the province, and I think all applications for funding have to be filed by December 31st, John, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. This will be coming to Council for approval during the December 14th meeting. We're waiting to do it at the last meeting to ensure that we capture everything.
Thank you. Good news. On the question, all those, oh, I'm sorry, Councillor Snodgrass.
I'm just going to ask, and perhaps, John, you don't know the answer to this, but has there been any talk about what would happen post December 31st? If this continues on, God forbid, hopefully it doesn't, but if it goes into 2021, is there additional funding that they're potentially considering? Do you know?
Not that I'm aware of, but some of the discussions that I have heard is that everybody's belt is being stretched very, very tight. So that it may mean that right now the province and the federal government are being very generous in helping with the losses. They may not be as generous in 2021.
Sense.
And
Councillor Day?
I said that makes sense with everything that has been happening.
But I think it's also fair to point out that, we also took that into consideration, I guess, when we were looking at the 2021 budget, that it actually reflects, perceived potential impacts to our revenue streams in 2021.
Yeah.
Anything else? John?
I could just say, Your Worship, in some of the virtual meetings that I've attended, there's been discussions about reform for local government, not just here in New Brunswick, but across the country. And a lot of it comes back to the fact that municipalities are very limited in how they can raise money. And that, for us, we're very fortunate in that the losses that we've incurred are not significant in the sense of what they may be for those cities with greater facilities and program services that they have to deliver. But having said that, we're all in this together as a team from a municipal jurisdiction perspective, and there may be some lobbying required to help those who may not be as fortunate as us. They're wealthier than us, but they're feeling the pain a lot more than we are as well.
Well, and I think that I did hear an announcement as I was going out the door today. I think they have extended some of the programs for landlord owners of properties and things, because I think one of the issues is that people who couldn't make their mortgage payments on things like rental properties, when they were foreclosed upon, all of a sudden you had all kinds of families in those rental units that had nowhere to go, that were being kicked to the curb. December 16th, another one on January 2nd or something, just, right around the season when it's, many of these people don't even have a job to go to. So I'm glad that they've extended that program, and we'll look forward to whatever help is available, not just for us, but for members of our community. So on the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary, your motion is carried. Items 19, please.
Adjourn the regular meeting.
So
No,
moved.
item 19, excuse me. Item 19 is the Grand Bay Westfield New School Task Force.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Yes, you're right.
That's all right, John. Look, these Zoom things, we don't have two screens, all of us, so it's difficult to know what's going on, and in order as well. So we would want the Grand Bay Westfield, you have before you the position that was taken by the task force from the Inglewood School, led by Amanda Ham and Suzanne Homan, through presentations to the deck the other night. We've included it in our public agenda tonight, and Councillor Day, I'll bring you up to date tomorrow on the discussions that we've had concerning that. So, Council, can I have a motion?
Motion. Receive and file.
That's it, please, Councillor Snodgrass.
Second it.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Likely. On the question, we wish them well. Certainly, and it's important. We have very old infrastructure here, so we wish them well. On the question, Councillor Snodgrass.
Yeah, I just want to, I think it's very important, and I applaud this group for stepping up and forming to help raise some awareness. We as a council have been fighting this fight for, well, I've been on council going on 9 years now. We need more public engagement. We need people to really step up and help, become informed about what's going on, and help give us, the only way this is going to get legs is if we have the community rise up, and it can't be just, 6 people, elected officials for the community fighting for this. It's got to be the whole community needs to really rally behind this cause. And I support the effort. I think they've raised some very valid points, all points that I think each of us have made in time over to the various governments and elected officials. So I think it's an important step, and it's nice to see that they're stepping up. And anyway, I guess I just wanted to say that.
Just for council information, I want you to know that I had staff draw from or create for me a file that I intend to share with those task force members that presents fairly all of the diligence that's been given to it by this council. Air times, presentations made to the deck. I have all of that in order to share with them so they know where we've been and where they need to go in the future. Councillor Evans, did I hear you?
Yeah, sorry, I had no picture. I can't wave at you. I just want to echo some of the other comments. I think it's great that people are getting involved and trying to bring awareness to what's going on and their deficiency in this and down towards this area of the community. And I think it's fun when you look at it, the group that presented earlier, they're fighting for inclusivity and all the different things that those students require. And we're having those same discussions with our MLA and different things, the government officials on that these buildings need to be accessible. And kids should get to go to school in their community, not have to go outside their little street that they hang out with and birthday parties. They shouldn't have to go to another school in the area to suffice a lift or accessibility. We should have it in all of our buildings. So good job in all these groups. And I look forward to some positive changes with our MO, with the city and government and moving on this file.
Thank you, Councillor Evans. If that's it, we'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Your motion is carried. Item 20 is adjournment.
So moved.
Second it.
On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Reminded, we are adjourned, council, at 8:19. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.